Let's go.
Crypto DLT with MrConectr. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell for daily content. Let's go.
Warning, warning. SUI exploit. It's MrConectr bringing you a warning, guys. Massive exploit drains 150 million from SUI-based DEX, decentralized exchange. Might be because it's not a layer 1 DEX. It's not native to the blockchain, guys. We've been talking about layer 1 and layer 2 DEXs on the channel for a while. SUI has been exploited. What's up? We got Evan XRP up in the chat already. Buckles is lurking in. XRP Master up in here. Good to see you guys. As always, yeah, we had a big exploit from SUI, and replying, Jesus Martinez says, decentralization is a lie. They're blocking transactions for the $200 million hack that happened on SUI. So guys, they can all get together and block transactions on a blockchain. Is it decentralized? We've been talking on the channel about how decentralization is kind of a myth in the space. Everybody strives for it. But really, what is it? Is it defined yet? Did Bill Hemmond define it when he gave ETH a free pass? No, I don't think decentralization has ever really been defined when you've got nodes on these blockchains. It happened on Solana too, where they can just call each other in a private chat room. They all get on the telephone together, or telephone, a private chat room together, and they can stop or halt the blockchain or block certain transactions. What is that, guys? What is that? Blocking certain transactions. Warning, warning, there's smoke coming out of my flower case. I don't know why. It says Evan XRP's having a good time already today. Good deal. Buckle says, yikes, I use the XLM DEX. You think they are safer? Yeah, I definitely do. Not financial advice on the channel, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing and what I feel safe. That Stellar DEX is built into it. It's layer 1. It's native. It's a native DEX. How many blockchains out there have native DEXs? I'll wait. I don't know, guys. I know that XRP and Stellar is native DEXs built into the protocol. They don't require smart contracts to operate. And that's what happened to the Cetus protocol exploit. SUI. This from SUI Ninja. They're reporting that out of the estimated 220 million to 230 million stole, around 160 million have been frozen and will be restored to the Cetus protocol pool soon. So they've frozen the accounts. What is that? Is that decentralized? The root cause appears to be a smart contract bug. Guys, we've talked on the channel so much about these vectors of attacks in smart contracts. There's several vectors. That smart contract better be audited good if you're going to use that, especially to transfer value. Suey sounds like calling a hog. Yeah, that's the old farmers. I've heard that several times. When the farmers would call the hogs in from the field, I'm a country boy. They go suey, suey, at much louder and much higher pitch, of course. But yeah, that would call them in. Yeah, the native dexes is what we need to deal with. I'm scared to use a layer 2 dex built on top of an asset. What's up, Proton Rick? XPR, yes sir. I love XPR. Good to have you, sir. Evan XRP, always an inside job as well. Plan theft from the CEOs. You never know, guys. I'm not claiming it on the channel, but you never know. They love to use that Nazareth group as a fall guy. You know, there's Ponzi's everywhere. Patsies, I mean. Ponzi's and Patsies everywhere. And the massive exploit on the Sui blockchain. The CETUS protocol. Primary liquidity pool provider. Whoa, they're the primary liquidity pool provider. They've suffered a significant exploit. Exploiter gained full control over the Sui dominated liquidity pools, resulting in widespread draining of funds. And this report suggests that allegedly over 200 million in liquidity has been compromised. Exploiter activity bridging USDC off-chain in $1 million batches. Wow. Sui and USDC pool alone drained for approximately $11 million worth. Tokens paired with Sui severely impacted. Prices collapsing by 70 to 90%. Affected tokens in trading. The majority of meme coins and tokens paired with Sui are severely down. Decentralized exchange DEX swaps are compromised. Trades failing due to drained liquidity pools. Users unable to buy dips or sell positions on effective pairs. What a mess. Market reaction. Several panic and confused among holders due to inability to manage positions. Prices on centralized exchanges remain comparatively stable versus the DEX markets, which is opposite of what we need, guys. We need the DEXs to be the main source of price liquidity, price metrics. Because SHX, that's on and off ramps, guys. We need to get to a place in crypto where we're not paying these on and off ramp fees. We need to get paid in crypto. That way we don't need a SHX. A CEX. Current situation, allowing official CETUS protocols, no formal acknowledgement or they're awaiting official CETUS protocol response. There's no formal acknowledgement or mitigation measures announced yet. As of this post from Abi, a couple hours, 7 hours ago. Situation remains highly volatile and ongoing. Cautious, strong advice. Avoid interacting with Sui blockchain until official clarity and communications emerge. So hopefully they haven't suffered too bad over there. Hopefully you guys, if you're into Sui, I am not on the channel. That is not on the Connector coin list. Neither is Solana. What's on the Connector coins? We've got Zebek doing great today, up 36% almost. 270% on the 30-day. We've got Elastos, an OG coin, up 18% today. XPRT, the first coin I ever heard of that was involved in liquid staking, which we will need that, guys. It sounds like the SEC roundtable the other day. They were discussing liquid staking, parking your coins in a qualified custodian and moving those same coins after they're custodied, moving the same exact coins to a staking protocol. Interesting. What's up? Thanks, Gary. Good to see you as always. Cubic with that huge supply. They're up 12%. I'm in most of these coins, guys. I'm not in all of them. Got a few of each of these just to keep up with these good projects. AVAX, really good project. Avalanche. That's that metal blockchains using those Snow protocol from Avalanche. They're adding their subnets to get infinite scalability, infinite TPS, just like the XRP sidechains. Metallicus has the subnets on that layer 0. Reserve rights up 11%. The Blue Rose Oasis up 10% today. Don't forget about Omni and layer 0. More and more about layer 0 and people using layer 0 to interoperate. Well, Wyoming stablecoin will be launched on 5 different blockchains at inception using layer 0 to interoperate between those. Evan says RSR is a RWA. Paul Atkins, baby. Yeah, I hear he's got interest in RSR, reserve rights. Is 350 AVAX enough? You know, I don't even know how many AVAX I've got, but that sounds like enough, yeah. At $25 a pop right now, yes, sir, Buckles. Sounds like you're doing good with that. What's the Bitcoin dominance doing? Let's refresh it just in case. On the 1 week chart, Bitcoin dominance is hovering about 60%. What about the American cryptos? Past 24 hours, Supra's up again. Second time this week it's been up, leading the American cryptos. Official Trump coin is up 10% on the day. Zebek's up. That's an American crypto. That's a payroll crypto. Zebek protocol. Zebek network. ZBCN. Official Melania is up a little bit. Superverse. What's the Superverse? Guys, I like to take a random look at a random token every string. I am not into this. I don't know anything about it, but we will check out an American crypto. There's the month chart on Superverse. There's the year chart. What is Superverse? Ranked 123rd at 88 cents. You've got market cap of where is the market cap? It says market cap per total lock value. What's the FDV? Okay, fully diluted value. That's even better, isn't it? The market cap, if the max supply was in circulation, the fully diluted value, FDV, equals the price times the max supply. If the max supply is null, the FDV equals the price times the total supply. Okay. If they don't have the circulating versus the total. So it looks like 880 million for that. What is it? Superverse. Just taking a random look at a coin here. It looks like a Binance. Looks like it's on Binance, Base, and MetaMask. Does the coin market cap not give us a breakdown of what it is? Do we have to go to the website? Here we go. Superverse is a gaming united. The Super token connects the biggest Web3 community and the tens of millions of people to the best crypto games. Okay, just wanted to know what was up with that. It's crypto gaming. Cool. Let's keep going. This is the categories. What's going on with crypto and the different categories? The first one is rehypothecated crypto, like wrapped cryptos. That's up only 4%. The second one's Binance Alpha, up 68%. Memes are up 51%. Average price change. Solana is only up 4.8%. The whole ecosystem. with WinPad Labs leading the way. Binance Chain ecosystem's only up, well, it's up a good 42%. Binance is kicking butt today. Internet capital markets is down 19.60%. AI and big data is up 6.6%. Real world assets, RWA, is only up 3%. Gaming's up 15%. DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure, is up 5%. DFAI, what is that? I should know this one. DFAI. It doesn't show what it is. What's DAF? What was it? DEFAI. The AI-enabled DeFi narrative. What is DEFAI? From yield farming frenzies to the rise of liquid staking, there's always something cooking in crypto's favorite financial playground, but now there's a new contender, DEFAI, the fusion of DeFi and artificial intelligence. That makes sense. DeFi and artificial intelligence is now a category. Together, they're redefining how to trade, lend, and manage assets on chain. That's what it's all about, guys. Managing assets on chain, making DeFi not only faster and smarter, but also accessible to the masses. There's a number of projects using AI to automate trading strategies, simplify complex transactions, and deliver real-time market insights. But, and it's a big but, are these projects genuinely pushing the space forward, or are they just cashing in on AI hype? Good question. DeFi can live up to its promise. DeFi AI can live up to its promise. It could well become one of the biggest cycles narratives. There's some serious hurdles to overcome. The whole concerns of narrative being AI-powered meme coins with little utility. So exactly what is it? It's the merging of decentralized finance protocols with artificial intelligence to create smarter, faster, and more automated financial services. What's up, Silver Days? Good to see you, as always. Looking into this DEFAI. At its core, DEFAI combines permissionless, trustless nature of DeFi with AI's ability to analyze vast amounts of data, identifying patterns and execute tasks anonymously. The result, a more efficient and accessible DeFi ecosystem where complex actions like yield farming, liquidity management, or cross-chain swaps can be handled by intelligent agents rather than human users. Imagine telling an AI agent, stake my USDC in the highest yielding pool with the lowest risks. And then it executes the entire process in seconds from selecting the pool to signing the transaction. That's DeFi in action. There you go. DeFi, DEFAI. Okay. What coins are doing good? There's Jam. Is that, what are these coins? Of course, you got the ASI coin, artificial superintelligence. We're into that. It's still labeled FET, fetch AI. Virtuals. That's a big one. AI 16Z, Origin Trail, AI XBit. Cool. We learn something new every day, don't we, guys? What else do we have? Gainers and losers. WorldCoin's up 35% today. Hyperliquid's up 20%. SPX 6900 up 20%. Zcash is up 18%. Fartcoin's up. Core's up. Injective, Brett, Jupiter, Trump, ASI is up. Cool. What else do we have next here? The crypto events calendar. What are these projects up to? AMA with LCX. Hedera's having a community call packed with dev insights and fresh tools. Avalanche, FIFA blockchain launch. Avalanche powers FIFA blockchain for global football's Web3 digital future. That's huge there, guys. FIFA is huge. $10 million token a lot for Medars, Genesis. Solana Ship or Die. This event will introduce the Solana ecosystem and crypto world at large to killer products and deep innovation. As a conference for Solana, a deep dive AMA for Solana, 2025 DeFi roadmap release for Loopring. Loopring shares the 2025 roadmap for Portal, block trade, and mobile innovations. Reallocation vote for CitusDAO. Checker node buyback. There's VELO crypto town hall space for VELO. We like VELO. We talk about VELO's protocols, Web3 plus infrastructure, and PlayFi vision for emerging markets. Chain Lab hosts a Link Lab at 10 p.m. UTC. Tezos Town Hall discussing the Rio protocol upgrades. See if there's any more we know of. Solana Corda integrates Solana. R3's Corda blockchain integrates with Solana for institutional settlement on a public blockchain. Interesting. Oh, well, what else do we have? Any more projects we know of before we move on? IOTA wallet extension. IOTA launches wallet extension for easy asset management and staking with no lockup. Corium joins Cointelegraph's decentralization guardians with a new staking dashboard. I got some info on Corium, guys. Let's get to what I've got there. Oh, yeah, there's Jack the Rippler. Is that a sign? Look at there. That could be edited, of course, but I like the way it looks. Got the bull in the sky. Let the bull market go. Don't forget about Polaris wallet in beta now. Live Bitcoin BTC is now supported on Polaris token portal. You can trade across Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, Cosmos, and more than 20 other ecosystems without breaking a sweat. All in the Polaris app. So you've got Bitcoin. You can swap anything to anything there in Polaris. Decentralized. Where's my Corium news? We saw that Sui had a big exploit on their smart contract DEX. Crazy. All right. I got my Corium right here. From Kappa Gonna Cap, boom, 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 Bob Rass and Reza and Naib, Richard Johnson and Texture Capital and the SEC Corium official. So you got, this was the image from Corium, went to El Salvador. Happening now Sologen's broker-dealer partner Texture Capital joins the SEC roundtable alongside the New York Stock Exchange, Coinbase, and Uniswap to discuss regulatory landscape for digital assets. A unified framework for crypto and traditional assets is gaining momentum with calls to adapt existing broker-dealer rules for compliant digital trading. Aligning with this direction, Solotex is being developed to meet regulatory U.S. standards connecting tokenized equities to crypto wallets. And they're reposting from Real World Assets watch list. Breaking U.S. SEC is in talks with El Salvador's CNAD. Hold on one second. I want to get that. I want to get this song off my list. It's a little too loud. 403. I've been meaning to do this. Give me just a second. Where is this song? No, I don't see it. Anyway. Cross-border sandbox could be coming. Trillions are loading. So this is what I wanted to get to right here, guys. What's up, Protein 40? Is the bag's on fire? Yes, it is. Melting faces. Nice. Kappa Gonna Cap says, you can't make this up. Plans within plans. Here's a little backstory right here, guys. When was the Ripple.com and Corium.com purchased? We know Ripple didn't have it to start with, but it was created. The domain Ripple.com was registered on March the 13th, 1998. And it's currently owned by Ripple Labs, a San Francisco-based tech company. Founded in 2012. So 1998, March 1998 was Ripple.com was created. The domain Corium.com was registered February 27th, 1998. Before Ripple.com was created. That's what, 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before. Oh, it's just a coincidence, I guess. Never know, guys. The domain Corium was registered on February 27th, 1998. It is currently associated with Corium, a blockchain platform launched in 2021. The domain registered through GoDaddy.com. Both the domains have been active for over 25 years and are now utilized by blockchain-focused companies. I don't know, guys. I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist. I like to speculate. They even said Doge was created even before that in January. Another month and a half before that, Doge was created, Doge.com. So has all this been planned all along, guys? You saw my, you probably hadn't seen it. It was one of my earlier videos. It was titled, was Stellar XLM created in 1970? It's one of my old videos. You can go to Stellar Expert right now. You can see, you can go to the assets and no longer, Stellar Expert, that's one of the main block explorers for Stellar. But it's got a section on it where it says issued assets, and you can arrange those issued assets by date. You used to be able to arrange it by date, oldest to newest. But now they no longer have that option of arranging the issued assets on Stellar from oldest to newest. They can do newest to oldest, but it'll take you 2 or 3 days of clicking through all the assets to get back to the original asset. But I remember doing it myself. Physically, I did it when you could arrange it by oldest to newest. And the oldest asset on Stellar Expert is the Lumen created in 1970. And you can still go to the Wayback Internet Archive and do that same thing I'm talking about. And it will still say Stellar was created in 1970. Now, I know, guys, that's conspiracy. Jed McCaleb wasn't even born there. But I don't believe everything I'm told about everything. Do you? Altcoin season, says Protein 40. Yes, sir. It's time. It's time for some of these real projects with real utility. I am getting like 45% on this Corium staking. Every time I check that wallet, I'm like, wow, the number of coins coming in. It's like 45% yield on that staking. Crazy, crazy. And we're doing really good on our bank social, guys. I don't know if you guys got into this. I called this, 2 weeks ago. I wish I'd have got in more on it, but bank socials on the FedNow blockchain service provider list. Behind Metallica, so they're the only two companies that issue cryptos on the service provider list. Look at there. We got in last week, 2 weeks ago, at 00014, I think. Yep, right there at 00014 when I called it on the channel. And we are now sitting at 0009. We almost knocked a zero off. Good Lord, that thing's flying. Bank Social. BSL, you can get that on your hash pack. Where do you stake Corium? In that Kepler wallet, that IBC wallet. I think I'm using a website called Restake. Connected to Corium, and it's automatically recompounding. And it will do that with several assets. Yeah, here it is. Restake. And it shows you what you can get. The APR you can get. Corium, look, 43 on the right there. 43% APR. I think it was varying a little bit. There's 37 restake operators. Cosmos, you got that 20% with Atom. Cosmos Hub. Yeah, this is a website that does the restaking for you. You log in. You can change the network. Several different networks. Akash, Axelar, Bitsong, Bluezell, Celestia. They're all IBC compatible. Corium, Cosmos Hub, Desmos. All these coins. I think this whole entire IBC system is underrated. Look at Atom Cosmos still sitting at $5.21. Let's look at the all-time for that coin there, Atom. Back in 2021, looks like it hit $37. And it's sitting at barely $5.21 now. All right, cool. Let's take a quick look at commodities. Doesn't want to load for me. We'll go back to commodities in just a second. Computer's running a little slow today, guys. We're making it think. We're challenging it. Cracking to offer 24/7 trading of tokenized Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA, and ETFs on Solana to non-US customers. We're not allowed yet, but they're getting it in place. Trading of tokenized Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA, and ETFs on Solana, offered by Kraken for non-US customers. ECB warns of major downside risk as stock market goes out of sync with geopolitical uncertainty. Oh no. Oh my. U.S. stock markets on the verge of a correction as Bitcoin brushes $112,000. Smart contract attack on CEDAS protocol. We just covered that on SUI. What else do we have here? Bitcoin's realized cap jumps 3 billion daily. Bitcoin pizza day 15 years later. No telling how much he lost out on that. But you know, guys, we get in and we get out of this stuff. We use it. I told myself a long time ago, we're going to treat this stuff like cash because cash is trash. So this has got to be better. And yes, it has worked out because it has gradually gone up over time. What's up, D Cartel? Good to see you, brother. That's a dope effect. Thank you, sir. I like to play around with the settings and have fun with the show. Texas moves closer to become the first state to hold Bitcoin. Coinbase is a S&P top 500 performer despite community backlash against Coinbase. Yeah, they had a data leak. Of course, who hasn't had a data leak? All their customers' home addresses and infos have been leaked. It's thousands of people, probably you and me. We were also leaked on the darknet on Ledger Live. They got hacked and all their customers' info went to the dark market. The dark web, I mean, for purchase. So if you're getting those phone calls, spam emails, your data was leaked. What's up, Turple Nurple? Yeehaw. Australian banker steals 489,000 Australian dollars after falling for a crypto scam. Jack Dorsey leaks the world's largest wealth fund, forcing Bitcoin to all-time highs. You guys remember what I covered the other day on the channel about Jack Dorsey wanting to change the decimal point on Bitcoin? They want to they want to increase the supply. Where if instead of holding a Satoshi, the Satoshi, say you hold one Satoshi, they're going to call that one Bitcoin now. And I'm not sure of the numbers, but that would increase the supply for Bitcoin. I don't even know if I did the math right, but it was like into the billions for Bitcoin, or maybe even a trillion. Was it 2 point some trillion, 2.1 trillion maybe? I don't have that exact, but it's insane what they want to do with that. They want to just get rid of the Bitcoin and call the Satoshis, the sats, Bitcoins. Change the base unit. Wow. Crazy days. Democrats threaten lawsuits, join protesters ahead of the Trump meme coin dinner. Yeah, how dare you become successful in life and then risk it all to be president to fix things and then create a meme coin. It has nothing to do with your success prior to becoming president. Silver Day says the BEC's going to hit all-time high today. Yeah, let's rock and roll. Nice. U.S. bill proposed to restrict political crypto holdings. Yeah, they're going to restrict stock trading for congressmen. They'll just go trade crypto. Political crypto holdings, though. I guess that's the Trump coin. They'll figure all that out, guys. I'm not too worried about that. They'll get the ethics figured out. I saw where the bill's been... what did they vote to send it to the House now? And that the House will take that up. I've got a date here somewhere. June. There we go. Eleanor Terrett. Just in, French Hill sets markup date for the House's crypto market structure bill. Okay, that's not the Genius bill. That's the crypto market structure bill. Marked up to the House on June the 10th. But they've yet to take up the Genius bill. Evan says, I follow the money. Trump is the money. Yes, sir. I've got some of those Trump coins. You know, I just feel like anything with the president's face on it might be something to have in the future. That's what currency has. President's faces on it. Protein 40 says maxis would lose their minds. And we've got Real World Asset Watch breaking. The Fed says if tariffs don't spike inflation, they will cut rates later this year. I'll believe that when I see it. We know Jerome Powell is all about protecting the legacy financial system. Payment infrastructure news says just over 50 days ago until the next attempt. Just over 50 days to go until the next attempt at the FedWire migration for ISO 2022 migration at FedWire. In March, many smaller United States PSPs, especially community banks, were not sufficiently prepared. In view of the international timetables, there is probably not enough time for further postponement. So, we had the FedWire standards pushed back to, July 14th, I think? Because most banks were not prepared. Community banks were not prepared. So that says they're not going to have an option when this is turned on. Then they won't have the option to do it. It's either all or nothing. If they weren't prepared, it sounds like they got to get ready. So what happens when the 50 days are up? FRFS will adopt the ISO message format for Fedwire service funds on a single day implementation strategy on July 14th, 2025. The Alley Fedwire application interface manual messages will be replaced with the ISO 200.22 messages. Crypto Canvas with some good words here. I don't resonate with the day-to-day crypto mindset like X coin is pumping or Y coin is dumping. That's noise. In a world addicted to instant gratification, real leverage is thinking long-term. Big picture, high conviction, patience wins. I'll bet on the tortoise every time. There you go. Pretty good advice from Crypto Canvas. Web3 researcher. Chad Steingraber says the key that unlocks everything, the stablecoin bill approval, could trigger a long-term crypto bull market. The passage of U.S. stablecoin bill could be one of the most important regulatory developments in the history of crypto, the report said. I think so, guys. I think that stablecoins are everything when they get all this figured out, and the treasury bills that are going to be backing them. The treasury demand is going to keep the dollar the dominant value, stable value in the world. And speaking of stable value, you got the Schumann.io Financial issuing the Europ. It becomes the first MiCA-compliant Euro stablecoin on the XRP ledger, a key step towards compliant stablecoin adoption, enabling payments, tokenized RWAs, and on-chain finance in Europe. The launch of this from Cassie Craddock, the launch of the Europ on the XRP ledger demonstrates how stablecoins can meet high standards set by MiCA, while unlocking new possibilities for on-chain use cases such as payments and real-world use tokenization. With Europe putting in place a clear supportive regulation and institutional adoption accelerating, the region is emerging as a key market for stablecoin innovation. We're proud to announce and work with companies like Schumann.io to lay the foundation for enterprise-grade infrastructure that supports Europe's blockchain economy. Schumann issuing that European stablecoin on the XRP ledger. All right, you guys are having fun in the chat. All right. Nice. Jake Claver is speaking here. How far ahead of the competition is Ripple and the XRP ledger? How far ahead are they?
Ripple's continued to scale their sales globally and infiltrate, other parts of the globe. And we've already seen Brazil issue they're issuing their CBDC on the XRP. Ripple's already met with the Treasury here in the U.S. They've launched ROUSD, and the Genius stablecoin bill reflects very highly of the XRPL and ROUSD. And just at this point, I don't think you can stop this train. Sorry to say it, but if somebody else had gained market traction during the interim, which I think Ethereum tried to do, then maybe
with a free pass,
maybe that would have stopped it. But
they couldn't even do it with a free pass.
At this point, all roads lead to the use of the XRPL for global settlement in multiple applications. It's not just Swift. I think you're going to get the back end of the stock market. You're going to get all of these other applications as well because of the partnerships and the integrations and the things that have been built that are actively in place, and the amount of time that it would take to replace those things or change your mind or have a competitor come in and circumvent it. It's just not feasible at this point.
Saying the XRP ledger is well ahead of the competition. and becoming the dominant stablecoin of the world. I like the way that sounds. The Grim Reaper XRPL is a public open source so people can build what they want using it. We want decentralization. You take the good with the bad as long as no laws are being broken. That's right. This summarizes, this is a good response to this post. If I can get to it. There we go. You take the good with the bad as long as no laws are being broken. So here is what he's talking about. Pumpius is posting rumors that an OnlyFans alternative is reportedly in development with exclusive XRP-based crypto payments. While I'm not a fan of OnlyFans, if this rumor is true, it could be a game changer for the creator economy and a huge boost for XRP utility. What do you think? Is this the start of X-rated DeFi or another narrative? And that's why I posted this from Grim Reaper. XRPL is a public open source so people can build whatever they want using it. You have to take the good with the bad as long as no laws are being broken. So that could definitely create high demand if that gets going. $589 Bull says the XRP army is this massive. A federal judge just ruled the Treasury and FinCEN violated the Fourth Amendment and weaponized surveillance with zero due process, which is tyranny level overreach. And now you know why David Schwartz is fired up. The case shreds the same corrupt enforcement logic that's been used to throttle XRP liquidity for years. No more chokeholds, no more shadow bans on corridors, no more treating Ripple's tech like contraband. It's a green light for global flow. The walls are crumbling. XRP is about to move. That's 589's take on David Schwartz's post. And we'll go over this, what he's talking about in just a second. Schwartz says, huge step in the right direction. Now we need a precedent saying that third-party doctrine can't apply when you have a contractual right to privacy because you do, in fact, reasonably expect that right to be honored. So he's talking about this post from Rob Johnson, huge Fourth Amendment victory. Federal court grants the preliminary injunction against financial surveillance program. Invokes the rebellious idea that King George III should not be able to have his red-coated soldiers and agents rifle through homes and businesses. So they're just upholding the fact that you have to have reasonable suspicion to surveil. Just like the police has to have RAS, reasonable articulable suspicion. They have to be able to articulate which crimes you have committed or are about to commit or in the process of committing before they can even detain you, before they can even have you to do anything. Now they can do their own investigations. But looking through your private information, that's a whole nother story. I saw that Florida passed the boaters bill where you now have to have the Fish and Wildlife, the boating. I don't live in Florida, but I love Florida. But I'm not sure the wildlife department, what it's called there, but they have to They can't just go pull up on another boat and say, hey, I need to check your stuff. They have to have suspicion, reasonable suspicion. And this is all this is. And that's the Fourth Amendment, guys. And this was a case. It's the Texas Association of Money Services that are suing the Pam Bondi and the Attorney General and Scott Bessent, the Secretary of Treasury. Of course, it might be something that's happened during the Biden admin when they weren't there, but they're in charge now and they have to take it now. Order granting plaintiff's motion for preliminary injunction. The court invokes the spirit of Thomas Paine. It's something very absurd to be governed by an island. Common sense. Here, the governing island is a small venue called the District of Columbia. Such an island mandated the government regulation of plaintiffs' businesses. I'm just trying to read through this. For the goal of fettering out illegal drug money. So basically, they're looking into corruption, but you have to have reasonable, articulable suspicion to look into anything. They say there's bots from the IRS looking at every financial transaction in the country. There's AI bots looking at them. And when they get around it by saying they're just looking at the metadata. But then that opens it up to more. Jeffrey's on the fence about Flare. I don't have any. Getting Algo instead or DAG. You know, there's so many coins out there, guys. We can't have them all. We cannot have them all. But I think as long as you have some of these good settlement coins, that's what's really going to matter in the long run. That's the utility run, is those settlement tokens. And yes, Flare, that's just one DeFi ecosystem. I hear it's pretty good, though. I hear Hugo's making pretty good, positive innovations over there for decentralized. You know, decentralized finance is everything. If it's truly decentralized and being able to interoperate, that's pretty cool. It is using layer 0 to interoperate. FWC, yeah, Florida Fish and Wildlife, yeah. The fish police. Yeah, they used to, they could just roll up on you and say, I need to check this and check that and go in your boat. No, they can't do that anymore. That's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. They can't do it without reasonable, articulable suspicion. Did our gold ever come up? I guess it did. $3,295 and silver's $33.11. All right. Hope you guys are doing good today. I'm doing great. Having a good show. We're discovering as much as we can on this space, guys. As much data input as we can get to learn how the back end of all this stuff works. Geopolitical and technological. So give me a like if you could and subscribe if you're new. What else do we have on the list today? This is just a little update on the Coinbase impact. 69,000 users were impacted by Coinbase's December 2024 data breach. Personal info was stolen, but funds and passwords were untouched. So we've been doxxed on that. Protein says, is DAG still lets retailers run nodes? I'm not too sure about DAG. I saw when Nerdy was posting that they were starting staking. So that's just getting going as far as I know, mainnet DAG staking. But we have to be careful about proof of stake now. You had Stellar come out the other day talking junk on proof of stake. because of the nodes. Some of these node actors in some of these chains could be malicious. They can do all the things right, and the chain might penalize them for doing something that's not right. And it'd be worth it to them. Even though the chain penalizes, it might be worth it to them to take the money somewhere. Not exactly how it shores, but it was a flaw that Stellar Foundation is saying that Proof of Stake has. Let's see what there's, if I can find it. There's 3 L's in Stellar. See if they have it. I want to kind of understand what they're talking about. This was just the other day. If I can find it. I don't see it. I don't know. But you know, Stellar's not proof of stake. Not exactly sure what they were talking about some of these nodes are doing. You used to be able to run a node. It would cost you like $40K. Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Okay, what happened with the stock market yesterday? If you were wondering why stocks went down all at once, we just had a terrible bond auction in the U.S. for our 20-year treasuries. Because of the lack of bidders, it caused the 20-year bond yield to surge to 5.1%. Credit market is screaming for help right now. So the yield on the 20-year treasury bond went up to 5%. It goes up because they need to make it more attractive to bidders because nobody's bidding on it. And I think the Fed had to jump in and bid on $80 billion worth of their own bonds with buying fake money with fake money. Wow. Can't make it up. Why is BlackRock holding off on an XRP ETF filing? BlackRock isn't moving on an XRP ETF yet, even though XRP is one of the most in-demand altcoins for ETF. Here's why. Short-term regulatory uncertainty. This from Smoke Dog. The SEC still hasn't fully defined whether XRP and other crypto assets are securities or commodities. Can you believe we're still going through a court case? Insane. Even though courts have ruled XRP isn't a security, the SEC keeps delaying ETF decisions. Approvals are now pushed into June or October 2025. BlackRock is waiting for full regulatory clarity before making a move. The institutional grade derivatives. Big investors use futures to hedge and manage risks. Bitcoin and Ethereum have high volume CME futures. XRP they just launched the futures this week, May 19th, with $19 million in volume on day one. It's a major milestone, but the XRP futures market is still new. Institutions tend to wait for consistent activity, and deeper liquidity before they get involved. Liquidity is not strong enough yet. XRP has a strong market depth and is one of the top altcoins in that category, but the ETFs require high and stable liquidity to handle large inflows and outflows. Yeah, it's only been a week. Give it time. It's only been 3 or 4 days. The SEC watches this closely. BlackRock will be waiting for XRP's liquidity to mature further. Yeah, you had to get this CME futures going this week before we can moon, because the price is always set in the futures market. The price is hardly ever set on spot market for anything. It's about betting on the price of the spot market. It's about the futures. 2 XRP ETFs are live on Robinhood. What are those? They're probably cash settled instead of XRP settled. You don't have to go out and buy the asset. XRPI and XRPT is X2. What's XRP I or XRPI? $12 on the XRP ledger. Only $200 in that liquidity pool. What's XRPT? Oh yeah, Turbo. We looked at Turbo the other day. That's the... No, those are tickers on Robinhood. Okay. I figured you were talking about... Oh, okay, for the ETFs. We did look at Turbo the other day. It's up 61% on Turbo. That's the agents running on the XRP ledger now. AI agents. Turbo's one of them. There's 7,000 in the liquidity pool. Create and deploy AI agents on the XRP ecosystem. Curious to know if that's just kind of hype. There's a lot of hype words out there like AI and agents, and a lot of projects jumping on the bandwagon. So we have to be careful, guys. What's up? Chicken dinner? Winner chicken dinner, $6.19. Good to see you. A DAG node currently costs around $12,500. Cool. Cool. Focus on already what's working. BlackRock's Bitcoin and Ether ETFs are pulling in massive inflows. Right now, BlackRock is focused on scaling what is already performing. Competitive timing. XRP and Solana are leading the ETF application activity. BlackRock may be watching how the SEC handles these filings before jumping in. They are waiting for stronger demand and a better regulatory environment. BlackRock is simply waiting. They're waiting for clearer rules, deeper market maturity, and more sustained demand before making a calculated move. Because we know, guys, Robbie Mitchnick worked at Ripple. Now he's in charge of digital assets at BlackRock. Prior to joining BlackRock, Mr. Nichik spent time at CPP Investments Board in public markets and private investments and at Ripple. He's the one that co-authored a fundamental valuation framework for crypto assets, along with John Bates Clark and Susan Athey. So he came up with a fundamental valuation for XRP. Yeah, I remember the calculator. Is that the calculator that... Maybe that was that first calculator where you could put in, the amount of demand you think that it's going to be using per day and all that. Oh, yeah, we talked about the bond market. Robert Kiyosaki is also saying the end is here. What if you threw a party and no one showed up? That's exactly what happened yesterday. The day before yesterday now. The Fed held an auction for U.S. bonds and no one showed up. So the Fed quietly bought $50 billion of its own fake money with fake money. Yeah, these bonds, there's nothing behind them but the U.S. saying that we'll pay you back for that. And then they bought that with fake money. They printed their own money to buy fake debt. What is going on here? Just when you think, how much longer can this last? Can this Ponzi scheme last? It just keeps going. Look, Robert's saying the party's over. Hyperinflation is here now. Millions, young and old, will be wiped out financially. Good news is gold will go to 25,000, silver to 70 is all. Silver doesn't even, it can get that just by doubling. I think silver's a bigger play than that right there, guys. Not financial advice. Bitcoin to 500K to 1 million, he says. The big print, the title of Larry Lepard's latest book is on. Please read it. The end I have been waiting and warning the world about is here. May God have mercy on our souls. Robert's serious about precious metals and Bitcoin. Now, this guy's smart, and you think he's talking his game, he's talking his book, and is strictly into Bitcoin, and he hasn't looked into any other technologies that are coming out? And he's strictly into Bitcoin. I don't know about you. I just feel like that this guy's smarter than that. And he doesn't want to talk about utility coins. Maybe he's figuring it all out like we are, figuring out which utility coins will be the best. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it yet. He doesn't want to promote the coin that he's actively in the process of skimming and buying the dips on. Who knows, guys? Subjective Views is posting, Swift is excited for the tokenized future and says, we're ready for takeoff. This is Nick Kerrigan, Managing Director, Head of Innovation at Swift.
Excellent. What would you say are the biggest challenges facing the industry then as we move towards a more tokenized future?
Well, I think there's undoubtedly real excitement about the potential of this tokenized future. I've kind of said that we're in the digital asset space, we're kind of, to use a metaphor, ready for takeoff, which is another way of saying that in innovation, you classically see a sort of what we might call an S-curve of adoption. So slow start, then steepens as it becomes change that is being adopted and then gradually flattens off. And
they're ready for takeoff and the adoption curve. All right, we talk about AI on the channel all the time. But AI won't be anything without blockchain, guys. It needs blockchain to verify the truth. Or at least consensus. Digital Chambers posting, blockchain equals trust. As deepfakes become more sophisticated, AI and blockchain can work together to protect the integrity of digital media. That's right, guys. We need to know what we're looking at. If what we're looking at is a deepfake or not. We need some way of figuring that out. I've seen a lot that I started watching only to realize it's a deepfake seconds later. Now, I feel like right now I have discernment to kind of tell what's what, but even I question that sometimes. Yeah, I guess this is a deepfake. I haven't even watched it.
My fellow Americans, the future of our democracy depends on one simple truth. We must trust what we see and hear. But today, that truth is under attack. With rapid advances in technology, the line between fact and fiction is blurring. Deepfakes are becoming more realistic, more convincing. This
is a deepfake. All right. Biden was a deep fake. AB Crypto King, Bank Social, and Cornerstone announces their strategic partnership to connect credit unions with the only cryptocurrency exchange designed specifically for credit unions and their members. Cornerstone representing over 600 credit unions and nearly 12 million members. Bank Social and Cornerstone. Cool. Lots of good news coming in on crypto. Let's check out the ledger. See if there's any airdrops on the XRP ledger coming. To unlock the world of premium functionalities, you need to have access. Okay. I don't see any memes. I don't see any airdrops coming there. About AMM rankings on the XRP ledger. Evan says auto pin. Yeah. That's part of it all too. We need blockchain to prove that that's actually the president up there signing things. There should be a moment right before he does something important, whoever it is, Trump, Biden. There should be a moment when you could see them giving 5-factor authentication to prove that it's them. And we could verify it on a separate platform. And then you got the mess of AutoPen. There's no telling how much stuff was signed with AutoPen. Jeffrey wants to know, you guys going to participate in the midnight airdrop Charles Hoskinson is talking about? Personally, I'm not moving ZERPs out of a quantum proof storage for it. Yeah, me either. I am not doing that either. It's weird how he says we've already got it. So I don't know how that's possible without adding a trust line. My thought was maybe they've created Cardano wallets for your airdrop. Like a new Cardano wallet to match Bitcoin wallets, to match XRP wallets. And maybe you have to somehow unlock that to get the keys. I don't know. That's weird. You would need the keys. I don't know how they're going to do that. It doesn't really make sense to me about the midnight thing, but we'll figure it out though. Protein says Biden was a bad version of early AI. He's a perfect example of why we need it. And that's for sure. AMM on the XRP ledger. Let's see what's popping off all time. Still Magnetic X is leading the way with 4.7 million in liquidity. Of course, the RLUSD is second with 3.6 million in liquidity. XP Market's third. Army's fourth. Sologenet's fifth. Let's look at that heat map. There's 56,000 in Circle XRP. I didn't know Circle. Is USDC already on XRP Ledger? I guess it is. Okay, the Gate Hub USDC or the multi-chain USDC. Multi-chain USDC. It's called OVX. Not sure what that is. We got newsnow.com. Let's see if there's any good articles. They're talking about why XRP will go much higher. Ripple raises their offer for Circle as stablecoin race intensifies. We have a new offer on the table. The deal would give Ripple control over USD's $61 billion market cap. That would be above that $10 billion threshold that would be regulated by the federal government. Stablecoins below $10 million threshold will be regulated by the states, as I understand the Genius Bill. The proposed $11 billion valuation would make it one of the largest transactions in crypto history. Coinbase may also enter the race with $8 billion in cash reserves. So Ripple is believed to have increased its offer to acquire Circle, the company behind $61 billion stablecoin, to $11 billion. Of course, that $61 billion would be just that's the market cap of USDC. That would just transfer to Ripple if they bought it. So they're at 11 billion now. Didn't we get rumors it went from like 5 billion to 20 billion? I think the 20 billion was kind of a fake. But now they're at 11 billion. The development marks a dramatic escalation from its previously reported $5 billion bid and comes amid growing speculation that Coinbase may also be eyeing the acquisition. But they've only got $8 billion in cash reserves. While neither Ripple nor Circle has officially confirmed the offer, the rising figure underscores how strategic stablecoins have become in the post-FTX crypto economy. Yeah, we got this stablecoin bill being voted on right now, trying to get to the House vote. And the House is taking up crypto market structure bill in June. With a deep XRP reserve and favorable U.S. regulatory environment under Trump, Ripple is seen as a serious contender in this high-stakes competition. XRP reserves support for Ripple's acquisition power. The 2025 Q1 Ripple Markets report reveals the company holds approximately 4.56 billion XRP. That's out of escrow. That's what they hold, 4.56, valued at $10 billion. Alongside with 37 billion XRP in escrow worth 87 billion. I like how they put these numbers on it, but that's not the value. If you've got that many tokens worth this much, it's worth less because when you go to sell it, it would drive the price down and you wouldn't get that much. But they sure post it like that. These reserves give Ripple considerable financial leverage to pursue transformative deals like this Circle acquisition. 11 billion would make it the largest transactions in crypto history. USDC reflects a push to strengthen its position beyond cross-border payments into mainstream financial infrastructure. Paul Barron noted that Ripple revised offer could fall anywhere between 9 and 11. The speculation intensifies after reports surfaced in 25 April that Circle had rejected Ripple's earlier offer, suggesting the two firms remain in negotiations. Circle's been preparing to go public since last year's earlier SPAC deal collapsed in 2022, with USDC gaining global traction and boasting significant adoption across DeFi and fintech ecosystems. Circle may not be under pressure to sell. So Circle, they actually have their own blockchain now. Where did I see that at? Let's go to Circle's going on with Circle's white paper? The Circle Payments Network. So they've got their own blockchain now. That's interesting. So what's the native coin of the blockchain? Is it CPN? There it is there on CoinMarketCap Deck Scan. Circle Payments Network. There's a pool, CPN against Solana. I guess it's all decentralized. Circle Payments Network. Let's check out the white paper right quick. How centralized is their blockchain? Is it permissioned or permissionless? And is this part of the acquisition? If it's permissioned. CPN serves as a new protocol layer in a comprehensive open and internet-based settlement system with USDC, EURC, and eventually other related payment stablecoins at its core. CPN does not move funds directly. Rather, it serves as a marketplace of financial institutions and acts as a coordination protocol that orchestrates global money movement and the seamless exchange of information. It marks the first time a regulated settlement asset in the form of stablecoins is married with an institutional coordination and governance layer purpose-built for financial institutions. It connects traditional payment systems to assets like EURC and USDC while establishing a trusted counterparty framework. A trusted counterparty framework for more efficient settlement. A trusted counterparty framework. That's centralized. If you have to trust it. If it says trustless, that means there's no need to trust it. If it says trusted, that means we still have to trust it. And there's a counterparty. What we like is that native non-counterparty digital assets, where we don't have to trust these issuers. By introducing a new clearing layer based on compliant always on digital dollars, CPN lays the foundation for cross-border settlement at internet scale. This is a trusted permission blockchain, from what I'm seeing. I have to keep this tab open and check out this white paper in depth. There's a lot to it. Sender initiates a payment. To the Circle Payments Network. Not really a good graph. CPN operates under a collaborative and transparent governance framework designed to prioritize compliance, security, and trust within the network. I don't know about this. CPN. Serves as a coordination protocol built for stablecoins. Here's a payment flow. Sender. Payment requested, payment quote, confirmed transaction. You use the originating financial institution. And that sits between the Circle Payments network. I don't know, guys. It just looks like something very centralized to me. But we're going to keep an eye on it. The CPN economic model and incentives have been crafted to drive rapid early adoption while establishing a sustainable long-term revenue strategy for all network members. It aligns incentives across network members, end users, and builders and service providers to encourage network growth and sustainability. All right, don't forget about Circle Payments Network, and it sounds like it's permission to me. And how that's going to play if Ripple buys Circle, how's that going to play out? Is it going to be a private side chain? Who knows, guys? Who knows what's going on? But we're going to check it out the best we can and stay in the know. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check out the connector coins on the way out. All right. Lots of green in the market. Love to see it. You guys have a good one. MrConectr out. Peace, guys.
you.